Hi everyone, good evening, namaste. I'm joining you for the 10 weeks of Yuktahaar project and I'm going to continue my discussion today about reintroducing gluten. जैसा कि आप लोग जानते हैं हम लोग अभी phase 3 में हैं. We are in week 9 and the phase number is phase 3 and phase 3 as you all know is about reintroducing the foods that we were restricting in phase 1 and phase 2. So the first food item that I have picked up is gluten. Gluten का मतलब क्या है? गेहूं, barley, rye, wheat, barley, rye. These are the things that we know as gluten in our day-to-day life. And as far as gluten is concerned, what are the things that we discussed yesterday? So yesterday was part 1. Aaj I'm going to discuss part 2. And tomorrow even I'm going to continue this discussion further. That will be part 3. So yesterday the discussion was about that okay, so if it's all about reintroducing everything, so can I have my cakes and muffins and all those things again, donuts and all those? And then there are certain people who don't want to introduce gluten क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि इतना benefits मिला है, इतना weight loss हुआ है, will it all reverse if I introduce gluten now? And then there are some people who just do not know how and how much we should eat. So all those discussions we have done yesterday, and I had mentioned that moderation is the name of the game. Please don't go back into getting all the Nova ultra processed foods into your kitchen back again just because gluten is back. We still need to understand that it's about right quality, right timing and right quantity, and the right quality is the one which is the traditional, the indigenous variety of wheat. Many varieties are there, like I mentioned yesterday, Khapli and Lokwan and Pegambari and so many others which are there in my book also. The names are there, so the names you'll find in chapter 7. So this was about right quality of the wheat, and today I'm going to discuss about the fact कि भाई ठीक है खा सकते हैं, अच्छे तरीके से खाना है, अच्छी क्वालिटी का खाना है, but कितने बार खाएं? Am I can I have it like all through the day, या फिर उसमें कुछ restrictions हैं? और अगर खाना है तो किस फॉर्म में खाना है, क्या क्या recipes हैं? Which means that today we are going to discuss the recipes which are basically the gluten centered recipes because the topic is gluten, and which also means कि आज बहुत ही लाजवाब और delicious खाने की बात होने वाली है. We are going to talk about all the lovely foods, regional delicacies, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to enjoy today's talk. So number one, wheat can be had throughout the 12 months. So throughout the year, you can, all through the seasons, you can have wheat. Unlike millets, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले भी discussions में बताया है, मेरी किताब में भी बताया है कि मिलेट्स में हीटिंग मिलेट्स होते हैं, कूलिंग मिलेट्स होते हैं, जिसके वजह से आप उनको पर्टिकुलर सीजन्स में खाते हैं. बट एज फार एज व्हीट इज कंसर्न, यू कैन हैव व्हीट ऑल थ्रू आउट द ईयर्स. पूरे साल आप व्हीट को एंजॉय कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज वन थिंग. द अदर थिंग इज कि हमें कितना उसको खाना है. सो आई विल से दैट डोंट हैव व्हीट फॉर मोर देन वंस अ डे. आपके पूरे दिनचर्या में, आपके जो पूरा डेली मील आपका रूटीन है, उसमें अगर आपने मान लीजिए ब्रेकफास्ट में व्हीट का डिश खा लिया, कैसे डिशेस होंगे ब्रेकफास्ट में, इट्स ऑल हियर ऑन द बोर्ड, बट आई एम गोइंग टू कम टू दैट लेटर. राइट नाउ टुडे इटसेल्फ इन द डिस्कशन, बट जस्ट आफ्टर 5 minutes. बट इफ सपोज आपने ब्रेकफास्ट में व्हीट खा लिया है, देन ट्राई नॉट टू हैव व्हीट फॉर लंच एंड डिनर एज वेल. Why is it that wheat is bad, उसको कम खाना चाहिए? It is not that. As I said, it is not about wheat being bad. I've written in my book, I've also explained yesterday, it is about having a diverse ecosystem, about having a healthy ecosystem, and because now you are in phase 3, I believe you are healthier than before, and that is why we are introducing wheat. At the same time, we need to understand that what is very important to retain this health that we have built up in the last 8 weeks is diversity of food, and therefore हमेशा क्या होता है, द मोमेंट आई टेल माई क्लाइंट्स कि ठीक है यू कैन गो बैक टू व्हीट, देन ये देखा जाता था इनिशियली व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड माई कंसल्टेशंस, ये देखा जाता था दैट पीपल जस्ट गो आफ्टर व्हीट लाइक एनीथिंग. And that is when I realized that the diversity is again disappearing from their plates. The diversity which we had built up in the last few weeks, that is again disappearing. And that is the reason why I say that if you do have wheat once in a day, बाकी के जो meals है उनमें आप millets खाइए, rice खाइए, pseudo cereals खाइए. What are pseudo cereals? amaranth is there, rajgira is there. These are all pseudo cereals. These are not millets, but they are known as pseudo cereals. So it is important कि आपके plate में पूरे दिन भर में diversity हो. So that is why I said once a day is what you should aim for. The second thing is कि क्या मैं इसे रोज खा सकता हूँ. Now here the thing is that of course you can have it every day, once a day. But if you're still somebody who has reached phase 3 but you're still looking to lose more weight, if you are somebody who is still wanting to still have better control of blood sugar, PCOD, insulin, thyroid, hormonal imbalances which reflects in terms of your periods, menstrual periods are heavy, menstrual periods are irregular, those kind of things, if it is still there, phase 3 में आने के बाद भी these are things that are bothering you. Of course I'm 100% sure कि it must have gone better, but if you still want to go about improving them, then I'll say that you're still better off keeping millets and the pseudo cereals as the main hero of your diet, and wheat then can come say like once in a week or twice in a week. Why is it important कि wheat आए? हम gluten free ही रह जाते हैं जीवन भर, ऐसा नहीं करना है. मैंने कल भी अच्छे से इस टॉपिक को टच किया था, because wheat itself is a source of prebiotics and we do not want to go to the extreme of staying gluten free for life, because know that very well. I have repeated this in many sessions and I will repeat this again, that immunity and good health is about being able to eat everything. तो हमें अपने हेल्थ को वैसा बिल्कुल नहीं बनाना है जहाँ पे हम ग्लूटेन डाइजेस्ट ही नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि हमने उसे खाना ही छोड़ दिया है. Remember, when you stop eating a particular category of food for a very long time, then your body itself stops building those enzymes, releasing those chemicals that will help digest it. We had restricted gluten only for a period of 8 weeks, which is fine. But now in phase 3, you need to bring it back because you do not want to not have gluten for the rest of your life or for 6 months together. Because that is when, आप देखेंगे कि मैंने 6 महीने तक नहीं खाया और 7वें महीने ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं अब उसे खा ही नहीं पा रहा हूँ, even if I want to. So we don't want to get into that stage. Therefore, it is important you introduce gluten, and moreover also remember, जब आप एक अच्छी क्वालिटी का गेहूं खाते हैं, जो क्वालिटी मैंने आपको कल बताया था, आपको सिर्फ प्रीबायोटिक्स नहीं मिलते हैं, आपको काफी तरह से विटामिन्स, मिनरल्स और बहुत सारी चीजें भी मिलती हैं गेहूं से, even barley or even rye for that matter. So it's not all about gluten being bad. Especially now because you're in phase 3, your internal system is much better, it will metabolize wheat, all these gluten foods much better, so you should eat them. But as I said, have them only once a day so that you can have other varieties as well. The second point, you can have them every day, but exceptions for those people who are still wanting to lose little more weight or wanting to get their parameters, metabolic parameters still more better, then I'll say that you can have them once a day, but like once a week or twice a week. Now the second most important thing is कि कैसे खाना है, what are the recipes, breakfast में कैसे खाना है, lunch में कैसे खाना है, and for that this whole blackboard is filled up for you. But what I'll suggest is that you should always go back to my book, Yuktahaar, the belly and brain diet. ये सारा कुछ जो है इसी बुक से ही लिया गया है. It's all there in chapter 10. But what I want to first tell you is about these 7 TBBD meal planning guidelines जो chapter 10 के beginning में हैं. These guidelines are on page 275, and why I want you to know about these meal planning guidelines is because no matter what phase you are in, अभी अब phase 3 में है, we are trying to reintroduce wheat, that is fine, but no matter what phase you are in, these TBBD meal planning guidelines, they stay valid all through the 3 phases. Which means कि ये guidelines, I'm sure all of you know what they are, which means कि ये guidelines के अनुसार breakfast and dinners should still be light. Lunch should still be the most wholesome meal of the day. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम gluten reintroduce कर रहे हैं, so we are back to square one from where we started the program. No, we are still going to follow the 7 TBBD meal planning guidelines, and these guidelines categorically say that breakfast and dinners are lighter meals. Lunch is the meal which is more substantial, which is more wholesome. The other thumb rule is about still sticking to traditional food items. तो आप still अपने traditional regional recipes को ही preference देंगे. Number 3, you're still going to eat in the correct combination. So if suppose you are having puran poli, for example, होली आने वाला है और महाराष्ट्र में होली में puran poli बनता है, so let's take puran poli का example. So if you are now in phase 3 and you want to enjoy puran poli for Holi, when should you eat it? You should eat it for lunch, because puran poli is something that will qualify as a more wholesome, substantial meal. So you should eat it for lunch. Number 2, आपको कैसे उसको बनाना चाहिए, you should follow your traditional recipe. Number 3, combination क्या होना चाहिए जो traditional recipe का होता है. So puran poli will come with ghee. You can have it with milk, because now you're in phase 3 and milk is also allowed. So have it in the correct combination जैसे वो बताया गया है, because only then the carbs, because when we talk about gluten, it's essentially carbs. But when you have it in the right proportion, like the right combination, then those carbs don't have those harmful effects of increasing or playing around with your blood sugars. So please maintain the traditional combinations, maintain the timings, the heavier, more substantial recipes in the lunch, the lighter, more porridgey, soupy kind recipes for breakfast and dinner. So what are these? These are all actually in chapter 10. I have just picked them up from the meal plans which is there in the book. Meal plans north, west, south, east के based पे बनाए गए हैं, books में हैं. But I've just picked up from all the 4 regions and I've just tabulated only the gluten meals so that you understand कि breakfast में क्या होना चाहिए और lunch में क्या होना चाहिए. Breakfast and dinner can be interchanged for the simple reason that we want to keep them both light. We want to keep them most of the time soupy, porridgey meals, breakfast and dinner. So that is why I have kept breakfast and dinner in one column, because you can really interchange them. A lot of people have asked me in the past कि हमें soupy, porridgey meals ही लेना है क्या breakfast and dinner के लिए. Again, I will say, if you have reached phase 3 and if you still are looking out to lose more weight, then at least 5 days of the week stick to more porridgey breakfast and dinner. What is porridgey? It's like kanji, khichdi, dalia, all of those things. If you're satisfied with whatever you have lost and you're just looking out to now maintain this, then your soupy, porridgey breakfast and dinners can be lesser, maybe like thrice a week, and other days can be more solid meals. What are those solid breakfasts? Like a upma, chilla, those kind of things. So I'll just run you through that, but know that you have to follow the traditional recipes. There wasn't enough space on the board, so I haven't put down all the combinations, but know that you have to eat them in the right way, like the right combinations, even though I haven't mentioned here, but of course in the book it is all mentioned, so refer to the book. Let's go for breakfast and dinner. So as I said, like farani khichdi is something which is made, which is wheat ka based dish hai, but it's because of its consistency, because of the style it is made, it is something that you can have either for breakfast or for dinner. Dal dhokli, again the same thing. Barley kanji. Now barley is something which is so not utilized in our daily meals, and I'm going to dedicate one complete session only to barley tomorrow, because barley is actually a gluten ingredient. मतलब उसमें gluten होता है जैसे wheat में होता है, but it is so nutritious, and it is so important for people who really want to lose weight, or who want to, especially for diabetics, PCOD people, thyroid people, even for people with hormonal issues, barley is superb. So I'm going to dedicate one session to barley tomorrow, but again I'm talking about recipes right now. तो अगर barley है, पर अगर हम breakfast में खा रहे हैं, then we can have it in the form of a barley kanji, or we can have it in the form of a barley khichdi. So try to understand that the same barley, can be made into a kanji and khichdi, and barley can also be made into a roti. I would say that go for the roti for lunch and kanji khichdi recipes for breakfast and dinner. So this is what I mean. But if you're really somebody who wants to have barley fulka or roti for dinner as well, it's completely fine. As I said, it is, at the end, उसका रोटी बनाना है या खिचड़ी बनाना है also depends on your hunger levels. So go for that. It also depends on, as I said, how much more you want to lose. If you're in phase 3 and you're satisfied with whatever you have progressed, then barley roti can come for dinner as well for you, maybe for more days of the week. तो basically आप शायद उसको हफ्ते में 4 दिन आप उसको खा सकते हैं. बट somebody who's looking out to lose even more weight in phase 3, वो शायद फिर रोटी चिल्ला जैसी चीजों को डिनर और ब्रेकफास्ट में 2 बार खा सकते हैं, and बाकी 5 days they can stick to more porridgey meals. So all of these meals, like you see, rab is again, it's a very nice, drink, but it's a traditional drink, and it is, basically belonging to North India. So rab is there. Again, as I said, wheat जो है उससे कांजी भी बनाया जा सकता है, बारले से खिचड़ी बनाया जा सकता है. Huggi is something that South Indians make, a very delicious meal, very very tasty, and they again mostly make it around festivals. I think during Holi, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe Diwali. But yeah, huggi is again like a festival dish, but you can have it. It's a sweet dish. You can make it sweet and savory both, as far as I remember. But huggi is again something that you can have for breakfast and dinner or dinner. So these are all things like dalia porridge. Dalia is the cracked wheat. That is something that you can have for breakfast and dinner. So these are all the recipes which is something that you can include in phase 3. And as I said, these are all there in chapter 10 in the meal plans. जो meal plans के tables हैं उनमें है, so you don't have to really jot them down, but just go through it. The other solid items which are there, chilla, upma, roti, which is the last one. This, as I said, you can have it like few days of the week. You can go for these solid ones as well, depending on your hunger and depending on how much more you are looking out to lose. So this is about breakfast and dinner. And then we come to the lunch portion. Now lunch portion बहुत ही amazing and delicious and जायकेदार है, because lunch में हम सब कुछ बहुत अच्छे से खाते हैं. We are going to make it more wholesome, more substantial. तो लंच में क्या होता है कि जितने भी तरह के परांठे, let's start with पराठा. सत्तू का पराठा, हॉर्स ग्राम का पराठा बनता है, मूली का, गाजर का, आलू का, all kinds of parathas that you want to have. You can have it for lunch. You can have it with dahi, you can have it with achar, you can have it with sabzi, chutney, all kinds of things. If you are somewhere from the north of India, you can have a lunji. So basically anything that you like to have with parathas. Then there can be dal bati churma. What is dal bati churma? Dal bati is basically a Rajasthani dish, which is again, this bati is actually made from whole wheat. Even churma is made from whole wheat. So you can have that, but you can have that for lunch. A lot of people, what they do is that if they are going to have dal bati churma, they'll have it for dinner, and that is where the problem lies. You have come to a position where you're really enjoying good health. You are in phase 3. A lot of people have had immense progress. Whenever I speak to the participants in the candid chat, which is on Saturdays, when I see their progress forms, almost all of them have made like really remarkable progress, and you don't want to lose on them. You don't want to go back to square one, and therefore try to understand that there's no harm in enjoying a variety of food. In fact, TBBD stands for variety. It stands for including a lot of different recipes. But what is important is that you have them at the right timing. All of these meals are sadly mostly in India consumed either for breakfast or for dinner. Like for example, a misal pav, or for example a pav bhaji. Most of them, they will either have this for breakfast or they will have this for dinner. As I said, dal bati churma, I come from North India and I know that a lot of households, they make it, but they will have this for dinner. Litti chokha, I know so many people make it, again North Indian dish, but they'll end up having it for dinner. Thepla is usually consumed, paratha is usually consumed for breakfast, which is again wrong. Luchi aloo, puri aloo, you don't have to stop eating your fried. I mean, in phase 2, हम लोग ऐसे भी भटूरा खा रहे थे. So many participants were posting pictures of the gluten-free bhatura that they made in phase 2. So there's no problem with fried puris also. But luchi is nothing but like a fried puri, which is a Bengali dish. But again, in Bengal, if you go in Calcutta, Sunday ko luchi aloo breakfast mein banta hai. They will sit in front of the TV and they will eat that luchi aloo, and that is where the problem is. Have it at the right time, have it with the right attitude. Don't have these meals as a source of entertainment ki Sunday television ke सामने बैठ के इसको खाना है. Don't do that. Have them, but as I said, have them for lunch. Why for lunch? Explained many times, but I'll explain it again, because जो 11 से 1 का time होता है, 11 AM to 1 PM, is the time when your body's metabolism is at its peak. Why is that so? Because your metabolism is connected to the sun. सन जितना ब्राइट होता है उतना हमारा मेटाबॉलिज्म पीक पे होता है. So obviously 11 to 1 is the best time, and because metabolism is at its peak, it makes sense for us to eat all these kind of foods during lunch time and not for breakfast or for dinner. क्या इसका ये मतलब है कि इस तरह के मील्स हम रोज लंच में खा सकते हैं कि आज पाव भाजी, कल लुच्ची आलू, तीसरे दिन मिसल पाव? Of course not. We are not going to do this every day also. Parathas is something that you can have every day for lunch, not a problem. Thepla you can have every day for lunch, not a problem if you do like to have it, that is. Thali peet is again something that you can have little more often, maybe twice a week or something. But something like a pav bhaji or a misal pav or a fried puri, those kind of things is something that you should have it only once a week. You're not going to have them like आज लुच्ची और पूरी and कल पाव भाजी. Again, we are not going to do that. So what I'm trying to say is that we have reached phase 3, but we still need to understand that being very sensible about our food is still the way ahead. We don't want to get into a zone of desperation कि ओहो gluten वापस आ गया तो चलो सब कुछ खाओ सब कुछ खाओ सब कुछ खाओ. Don't do that. सब कुछ खा सकते हैं, but honestly I was very proud of the fact that so many participants said that they were actually enjoying phase 1 and phase 2. They were not missing anything. They were not missing the milk or the gluten or anything, and they were thoroughly enjoying all the recipes that my team has been making and we have been posting in the form of reels. And therefore it was very very heartening. तो जिस तरह आप phase 1 phase 2 अच्छा खाना खा के enjoy करते आए हैं, उतना ही sanity phase 3 में भी रखिए. You are free to eat all of these nice delicacies, and these are all very healthy. Let me tell you, none of them are unhealthy. But again, they become unhealthy जब आप उसको गलत तरीके से खाते हैं. गलत तरीके का क्या मतलब है? जब आप स्पार टेक्निक यूटिलाइज नहीं करते हैं. स्पार टेक्निक क्या है? It's about eating mindfully. It's a technique that I've mentioned in my book, which is in chapter 4. So you can go ahead and check. So if you don't eat in a certain attitude, in a certain fashion, if you don't choose the correct ingredients, so whenever you're making these things, आपका जो आटा होगा, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, चक्की का आटा लो. Don't use those commercial brands of atta. So that is the other thing, which is right quality and right timing. What is right timing? As I said, the right timing is about this. This is just to give you a little idea. I'm sure there are many more recipes जो आपके अपने traditional उसमें boundaries में आते हैं, which I have not covered here. I'm so sure about it because it is impossible to cover so many traditional delicacies of India. And I'm sure that there are few that I'm not even aware about. But अगर आपका कोई भी ऐसा regional traditional delicacy है which is gluten based, then this actually just gives you a fair idea on how you can eat it. कि आपको उसको lunch में खाना है या breakfast में खाना है, कितने बार खाना है. All of those things is just so that you can have a fair idea on where you can actually put your traditional recipes. So I hope this makes this talk makes this whole thing very easy on how you should be choosing your meals. किस समय किसको खाना है, कैसे खाना है, all of those things. So what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to talk about barley specifically. Why barley? Because barley is something which is very 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 underestimated. बहुत underestimated है. Gluten dish है, but excellent for many things, like I mentioned in the start of the talk. And I'm going to take this discussion tomorrow because barley is like it is a part of a gluten, and we are going to wind up the topic for gluten tomorrow, so that will be part 3. I'll take the questions for now.
Ma'am, if I'm working out at 7 p.m, shall I have makhana smoothie before or after workout?
After workout, why do you 7 p.m, right?
Yeah.
So after workout 7 p.m, firstly you should go for a dinner. अगर आप dinner before workout कर चुके हैं, then that's a great thing, because अगर आप before workout, has he mentioned dinner before workout? No. So अगर आप dinner before workout कर चुके हैं, then that's a great thing, because that means that you're having your dinner at 6:35, something like that. So excellent if you're doing that. And in that case, post workout you can simply go for a protein smoothie, much better than a makhana smoothie. That is number 1 thing. Number 2 thing, अगर आपने dinner workout के पहले नहीं किया है, then immediately after you finish your workout, the dinner should be there. So dinner actually becomes your post-workout meal. So in both circumstances, I don't think makhana smoothie fits the bill.
How often can I have wheat in a week?
So how often can you have wheat in a week? I'll suggest that you please go through this video again from the start. I'm still going to answer this for you, but for a more detailed explanation, because I just explained this when I got here today. There are a few questions over here on the screen that people are asking right now, so you'll have to check. Okay, so how many times in a week? As I said, you can eat them every day also, or you can have them once in a week or twice in a week. That decision is yours. What is that decision based on? That decision should be based on how much more, suppose you want to lose weight. If you want to lose even more weight now in phase 3, then I'll say that you can have your wheat say twice in a week, and baki din up, you still make millets the star of your plan. If you're pretty okay with whatever progress you have made and you're satisfied, then you can even have wheat every day now in phase 3. But in both the situations, ensure that you're only having it once in a day. Don't have it like twice or thrice in a day. जिसका मतलब है अगर आपने ब्रेकफास्ट में wheat लिया है तो डिनर में मत लीजिए, लंच में मत लीजिए. For the very simple reason that if you go on eating wheat all your meals, like breakfast maybe, lunch maybe, dinner maybe, then what it does is it just compromises variety and diversity. आपके millets suddenly आप देखेंगे कि एक महीने में खत्म हो चुके हैं, मतलब they disappeared from your थाली. जब आपने प्रोग्राम शुरू किया था मिलेट्स थे ही नहीं आपके प्लेट में, एंड फेज 3 में धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, यू विल गेट सो यूज्ड टू दिस व्हीट दैट मिलेट्स फिर से गायब हो जाएंगे, एंड आई डोंट वांट यू टू रीच दैट स्टेज. So that is why I'm saying that ensure that you just eat it once a day.
I am in phase 2, week 3. How will be I able to give my responses after you complete your project next week?
Yeah, so we are still trying to figure that out. I'm happy that you asked this question because we are still trying to figure that out, but we'll definitely come up with something. We are not just going to leave you out there, so don't worry.
I have Hashimoto thyroid. Can I have gluten?
So this program, the whole TBBD thing works beautifully for Hashimoto's and even the other thyroid which is not autoimmune, and I will really say that you please follow this TBBD to the T and you really want to find results. As far as gluten is concerned, once you come to phase 3, as I said, you can have gluten, and as I explained in this video that you should be eating gluten and not become gluten free for life, because then you risk not being able to eat gluten in future even when you want to, and you don't want to have that life कि अगर आप बाहर गए फ्रेंड्स के साथ, आपके सामने पिज्जा आ गया और आपका ऐसा मन घबरा जाएगा क्योंकि जीभ बोलेगा अच्छा इसको खाओ, बट आपका मन ऐसा घबराएगा कि I don't know if I'll be able to digest this. So we don't want to reach that stage. That is why I say that you should introduce gluten in phase 3 irrespective of your disease status, but depending on where you stand in terms of your weight, in terms of your health status, in terms of your parameters, you can choose to have lesser of gluten. So you can just choose, in your case I will say you can choose to have like wheat only twice a week, and other days of the week you can just dedicate to millets and pseudo cereals.
Ma'am, will this diet correct hypothyroidism?
Yes, it will, but if you are already like losing a lot of weight, then you might want to have certain tweaks, and I'll suggest that this is probably not the right place for that. Maybe you can write us an email. Our email ID is on our website, so you can write us an email and I'm just going to respond to you. There are certain tweaks which I would like to make in your case.
Can we eat salad with lunch? Cooked food and salad cannot be eaten together.
See, of course, cooked food and salad should not be technically eaten together. बट अगर हम बहुत ही थोड़ा सा एक सैलेड लेते हैं अपने लंच में, एक जैसे हमारा एक थाली है, उस थाली में मेजर पोर्शन हो गया आपका रोटी राइस, फिर दाल आ गया, सब्जी आ गया, अब एक कोने में जरा सा सैलेड है तो इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. इफ यू रियली एंजॉय दैट, देन आई थिंक यू शुड हैव दैट. देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम एज सच कि मतलब बहुत कुछ टेरिबल हो जाएगा. At the same time, there are certain people who don't even enjoy salads, but they still go on eating it because they feel it is healthy. So if that is the logic, then you're okay not having the salad at all, because ऐसा कोई logic नहीं है कि salad बहुत ज़्यादा healthy है. So if you really like it, as I said, you can have it. एंड वो कम छोटे प्रोपोर्शन में, छोटे क्वांटिटी में होगा कंपेयर टू द रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स ऑन योर प्लेट, सो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू मेक अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस.
What about ice cream and faluda and kulfi? They too to be taken in lunch?
Ice cream, faluda and kulfi. Yeah, so ice cream, faluda and kulfi again something जो हमारे ऐसे मुंबई में जुहू चौपाटी में लोग ऐसा रात में 11 बजे खाते हुए मिलते हैं, तो वो तो बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. प्लीज डोंट गो आउट एंड नाउ स्टार्ट हैविंग क्या कुल्फी, फलूदा, आइसक्रीम ऐसा रात में 11 बजे. Summers are also coming, so that's quite a good question. But what is the right time to have them? Again, as I said, सबसे पहले ये जानो कि ये जितने भी चीजें हैं, आइसक्रीम्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, सब प्रोसेस, नोवा अल्ट्रा प्रोसेस कैटेगरी में आएंगे. Unless you are making kulfi and all at home, of course, then no problem. But even if you're having it outside, and ये nova ultra processed category वाले हैं, हम जानते हैं, you have to just see that you just enjoy these things once in a week. You don't go on having them every day or like 5 days in a week. That is number one. Number two, what is the best timing? बहुत लोग हैं who want to finish their lunch with a ice cream or a dessert, which is also fine. I don't mind that. So that is one option. The other option is that you simply have them at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. like just as a standalone dessert, evening thing. उसके साथ आप कुछ फ्रूट्स भी डालना चाहते हैं आइसक्रीम के ऊपर, कुल्फी के ऊपर, सो यू कैन डू दैट टू मेक इट लिटिल मोर होलसम, ताकि कि आपको इवनिंग में और किसी चीज की जरूरत ना हो और किसी स्नैक की. बट बेसिकली दीज आर द राइट टाइमिंग्स. डोंट हैव देम लेट नाइट और आफ्टर डिनर फॉर श्योर.
Ma'am, can different nuts eaten together? How seeds can be eaten? Nuts and seeds eaten together? Can they be eaten together?
I mean, it depends on the recipe. Like a lot of these seeds, I'll tell you, like ये जो हलीम होता है, आलिव होता है, इनके जब लड्डू बनते हैं तो उनमें nuts भी देते हैं. So then the nuts and seeds are coming together by default. In fact, a lot of places, like in my community, when they make a गोंद का लड्डू, they will add some seeds and nuts. Nuts तो सभी लोग देते हैं almost, but few people will even add certain seeds. So by default, nuts and seeds do come together. Now, should you have like this mixed seeds thing, which a lot of people, health freaks, are taking nowadays, कि हर चीज में seed ऐसा डालो, fruits खा रहे हैं तो seed डालो. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's required because again, you have nuts and seeds, and like these laddus I explained, you have them in a particular season. ठंड होती है तो हम ये सब खाते हैं, and at that time, even if you have increased your nuts and seeds का intake, your body kind of metabolizes it. But you would not want to have so much nuts and seeds in the summer season. So don't go very paranoid about it. Just follow the recipes, the traditional way of eating it, and you will be in a better place.
Is Rajgira gluten source, and can we have Rajgira bhakri in lunch?
Rajgira is not gluten, so Rajgira comes in the pseudo cereal category, and Rajgira is not gluten. Can you have Rajgira bhakri in lunch? Of course, yes. You should have Rajgira bhakri in lunch. So, in fact, Rajgira को English में amaranth बोलते हैं, and amaranth is such a rage in the West. बिकॉज लोगों को पता चल गया है कि उसमें प्रोटीन ज्यादा है, और किसी भी चीज में प्रोटीन होता है तो लोग थोड़े परेशान हो जाते हैं कि अरे चलो 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 लेट्स टेक इट. तो राजगिरा भाकरी इज एक्सीलेंट. आप उसका लड्डू भी ले सकते हैं इवनिंग में एज अ स्नैक, or you can make a Rajgira upma. In my book, I have given a Rajgira smoothie and amaranth, no, not a smoothie, amaranth porridge. So you can have that for breakfast. So yeah.
Ma'am, you recommended brand Terran for protein. Is that okay for weight gain too?
Is that okay for weight gain too? See, I mean, I'll take your question for protein and not for the brand, but weight gain ke liye, what weight are you planning to gain? Basically, see, try to understand what is the role of a protein. This will be the last question for the day. Yeah? So what is the role of the protein? The role of the protein is basically muscle repair and muscle building. आपको weight loss करना है तो भी you should go for a protein thing just after your workout. आपको weight gain करना है तो भी. So either of the way, even if you want to go for a weight gain or you want to go for a weight loss, you should have a post workout protein smoothie or a shake or whatever it is. What I'm trying to say is कि protein shake का जो काम होता है post workout, it is not about weight gain and weight loss, but it is about being able to repair the damages that you have gone through in the exercise. तो अगर आप वेट बढ़ाना चाहते हो या कम करना चाहते हो, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ दैट रिपेयर का काम तो होना ही चाहिए ना बॉस. सो इट इज रियली इररिस्पेक्टिव दैट मुझे कम करना है या मुझे बढ़ाना है. आपने जो एक्सरसाइज इज नॉट अ बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस. लेट मी टेल यू, एक्सरसाइज इज कैटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस. व्हाट इज कैटाबॉलिज्म? कैटाबॉलिज्म होता है जिसमें थोड़े थोड़े डैमेजेस होते हैं. ऑफकोर्स हम फ्रैक्चर करके नहीं आते हैं एक्सरसाइज के बाद, बट व्हाट आई मीन इज दैट देयर आर सर्टेन माइक्रो टियर्स इन द मसल्स. Our energy systems go through a complete twist and turn when we are exercising. So it's actually a catabolic process. Catabolic process उसको बोलते हैं जिसमें थोड़ा wear and tear होता है. इसको anabolic process, which is the opposite, which is of building up, repair, healing. इसको anabolic process हम post workout meals और अच्छी sleep और अच्छा lifestyle देके बनाते हैं. So until and unless we are doing the things जो हमें workout के बाद करना चाहिए, we are only stressing ourselves in the exercise. वो exercise को हमें अपने लिए अच्छा बनाना पड़ता है post workout, by eating right, by sleeping at the right time, not having alcohol too much, drinking lots of water, not being mentally stressed all the time. Lot of things are there. So that's why I said that I don't think you should look at your post workout meal from the angle of weight gain or weight loss, but you should think about your post workout meal from these angles, and then I think you will better understand. Okay, so thank you so much guys, and I'm going to continue my topic for gluten tomorrow, part 3, and I'm going to join you same time, same place as you know it. Thank you.